Xiaomi has a new flagship phone, the Xiaomi 12 Pro. It may not be their highest tier device of the year, but even so, it brings plenty of premium features and a hefty price tag. So is the Xiaomi 12 Pro a flagship worth considering? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our full review. At the time of this video, the Xiaomi 12 Pro is the top model available from this series. This won't be for too long though, as the Ultra model will come out in the near future. The 12 Pro's design doesn't break the mold, but it's quite nice. Rather than going for contrasting accents, you get a sleek, uniform look. The glass back tapers into the aluminum frame, and the satin finish is silky smooth. Look closely and you'll see an interesting touch on the camera bump, which has lines separating the different modules. For some reason, this phone has no IP rating against water and dust, which competitors and even this year's Xiaomi mid-rangers do have. The screen of the Xiaomi 12 Pro is a curved 6.73-inch AMOLED with Gorilla Glass Victus protection, a QHD resolution, and a high 120Hz refresh rate. The resolution is quite sharp. It comes out to 521 ppi, and content looks crisp and clear. Blacks are super deep thanks to the AMOLED technology, and you have support for HDR10+ as well as Dolby Vision. You can also make colors quite accurate if you want through the profiles and color settings. For the refresh rate, you can choose a maximum ceiling in custom settings, or select the auto mode, which also goes up to 120. Regardless of your choice, the phone can dial down the refresh rate based on your activity to save energy, and Xiaomi claims it can go all the way down to 1 Hz. There's also a really fast 480Hz touch sampling rate here for better responsiveness. It's a useful feature for gamers. The max brightness of the Xiaomi 12 Pro's display is flagship grade too. We were able to measure around 500 nits maximum with a manual slider, and this can boost up to over 1000 nits in auto mode when you need it. The Xiaomi 12 Pro has stereo speakers with one at the bottom and the other which outputs sound through both the earpiece and a grill at the top. The speakers have Harman Kardon branding, but we're only able to score an average rating on our loudness chart. And subjectively, sound quality is nothing special here. You get some bass, but the highs are lacking clarity. You can wake up and unlock the Xiaomi 12 Pro with the optical under-display fingerprint reader. It's fast and reliable. And there are options for 128 or 256 gigs of storage on board, but it's not expandable. The interface of the Xiaomi 12 Pro is MIUI 13, running on top of Android 12. It's pretty straightforward and comparable to both the previous version and the MIUI 13, which runs on Android 11. We have a dedicated video about MIUI 13, which you can check out to see its general functions and features. The UI on the Xiaomi 12 series is based on Android 12, not 11, but for some reason there's not much difference on these global models. The Chinese variants get visual improvements and things like a reworked widget interface, but not here. What's weird is that you're even missing some Android 12 features, like the improved privacy dashboard. There are some subtle changes coming from Android 12 though. For example, there's the green indicator that appears when an app is accessing the mic or one of the cameras. And you can set your location to be approximate rather than precise. The Xiaomi 12 Pro runs on the new Android flagship chipset, the Snapdragon Gen 1. It's built on a 4nm process and provides blazing fast performance that's a bit better than what we saw from last year's flagships. Gaming and multitasking are no problem here, and you get 5G connectivity. This chipset runs hot though, and the Xiaomi 12 Pro's thermal management doesn't quite keep up. We noticed some thermal throttling during our testing. The Xiaomi 12 Pro has a 4600 mAh battery, which isn't small, but we've seen plenty of devices lately with a larger power pack. The phone was able to score just a 74-hour endurance rating in our battery tests, which is underwhelming. Charging speed though is incredibly fast, thanks to the huge 120-watt adapter that comes in the box. With it, we were able to charge the phone from 0 all the way to 100% in just 21 minutes. Now onto the cameras. The Xiaomi 12 Pro has a 50-megapixel main cam with OIS, a 50-megapixel telephoto with 2x zoom, and a 50-megapixel ultra-wide cam. Daylight photos from the main camera are really good. There's abundant fine detail and processing is balanced without excessive sharpening. Colors are lively and dynamic range is excellent. The telephoto maintains that expert-level performance. Its shots have very good sharpness and detail, and dynamic range is also great. Its colors can be slightly warmer and more saturated than those of the main camera, but the difference is subtle. The 12 Pro's portrait mode relies on the telephoto camera for capture. These are nice, with very competent separation, and because of the zoom, you can keep a more comfortable distance while shooting. The ultra-wide camera does a good job for this sort of cam, almost up to the same standard as the other two cameras. Its photos are very crisp in the center, and while dynamic range isn't quite as wide here, it's still perfectly acceptable. In low-light situations, the Xiaomi 12 Pro will automatically apply night mode processing by default, and these are quick to capture too. You can also turn on a dedicated night mode in settings and the results are basically identical. The quality from the main cam is very good, with an excellent level of detail and well-controlled noise. The colors are pleasant and highlights are nicely preserved. The exposure is rather conservative as far as night modes go, and shadows appear darker rather than being brightened up. The telephoto continues roughly along the same lines. The exposure is on the darker side as far as night modes go. Detail is good, noise is kept in check, and the colors are well saturated. Overall, a very nice performance. The ultra-wide camera also produces solid photos, if a little dark. You still get a respectable dynamic range with decently contained light sources, no loss of color, and good detail. Selfies on the Xiaomi 12 Pro are captured at 32 megapixels from the front-facing cam, and they have plenty of detail, lively colors, and wide dynamic range. You don't have autofocus on this camera though, unlike some competitors. All three rear cameras can record video in up to 4K at 60 FPS, and the main cam can go up to 8K at 24 FPS. 4K videos from the main camera are good, although we've seen better fine details and textures from competing flagships. The dynamic range is nicely wide, but the things seem a little overexposed and washed out. 8K footage is nothing special. There's not much advantage in terms of detail, and we're not fans of the rendition. Of course, these videos take up a lot of space too. 4K videos from the telephoto have a color rendition and exposure similar to the main cams, so not ideal. Detail is excellent though, and there are no signs of noise. The colors are different in the ultra-wide cam's footage, and we like this rendition better. But we wish there was more sharpness. The video is softer than many competitors. Electronic stabilization is available for all three cameras, and the resulting smoothness is praiseworthy. In low light, the main camera of the 12 Pro holds up well and captures 4K video with good detail while managing noise decently. Dynamic range is a bit limited though. The telephoto does an okay job. There's visible noise and softness, but colors are well preserved, dynamic range is acceptable, and you get enough detail in better lit areas. The ultra-wide isn't great at recording at night and struggles to expose our test scene. The video is soft and noisy too. So there you have it guys, the Xiaomi 12 Pro brings a smooth finish, a curved high-res AMOLED with an adaptive refresh rate, stereo speakers, the top Android chipset, blazing fast charging, and very capable and versatile cameras. There are a couple of issues here though. While you can charge at amazing speeds, the battery life itself isn't great. The speaker quality isn't the best around either, and there's no IP protection for the phone. But if you don't mind these things, then the Xiaomi 12 Pro could be worth looking into. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and see you on the next one.